Now let's talk about Final Destination 2, which to me, like the first one, is very close in terms of entertainment and quality for me. I think that this is a really good sequel, honestly, because this one, as opposed to 3, 4, and 5, really connects the films 1 and 2 together in a really smart way, honestly. I didn't. Like, whenever I first saw it, I didn't think that it would turn out this way where, like, the people in this movie who are affected by this highway crash that the main character Kimberly has a premonition of, like Alex had a premonition in the first movie. Um, all of their characters, I like how they connect to the first film, in which they all were connected in a way where they were gonna die, but because of Alex getting everybody off the plane, it interrupted Death's plan with these characters. So these characters who were gonna do all these things like take over for somebody, like a character from the first film, like stuff like that, where like they were going to be part of this already planned death, but since Alex took these people off the plane, it literally caused like two ripple effects where these characters are being killed off, who are going to be killed off in the car crash, but then Kimberly had a premonition, so now these characters are have a double ripple effect where they are death is trying to kill them off when they have already supposed to be killed off already. And I think that this movie, like the first one, it doesn't have as much sincerity in it. I think that it's still good, but I feel like the first one was great at making these characters so sincere and so likable for the most part, besides Carter in the first one. But but like the second one, I think all these characters are not as likable. Like they're more honestly more just here to be killed off, or they just get really angry because they don't want to believe the truth that they survived this ordeal, and Kimberly witnessed this in her mind, like she had a premonition that this happens, and it does happen. So these characters don't know if they're supposed to be scared that they're gonna die or not. And the first one did that too, but I like that these characters, even though they're less likable, I like that these characters are angry about this situation. Like they don't know what to think of this because it just seems so far fetched that this situation happened and that they survived this ordeal. And I think that they all aren't as likable, but they're all interesting too. I think that they're an interesting bunch. And whenever they we get to this part of the movie where they talk about how we realize that Death is trying to cut all the loose ends or tie up all the loose ends with these characters when they were supposed to die. But of course, Final Destination 1 happened and Alex had the premonition and it caused ripple effects to all these characters. But I liked the scene where they're all talking about that wherever they were supposed to be, and all from these characters in the first one. Like for example, one guy was supposed to be a substitute teacher for Mrs. Luton's class, the character from the first one, but then she died, so then he didn't make it. And then like one woman who was supposed to go to a hotel that would have a gas leak didn't because her bus that she was on hit Terry Cheney from the first movie. Like, I think that's really cool that all these characters are all connected so interestingly to the other film that it makes it a honestly, I think a worthy sequel, and just how it keeps the vibe of the first one. It keeps a lot of the sincerity, but not as much. But it has all these characters that die in interesting ways. But I just really liked how it connected to the first one. It's the only sequel that completely connects to it. It's the other ones are all pretty standalone after this one, but this one did a really good job of trying to connect all these characters. And I liked Clear Rivers and how Ali Larter returned. And I think I listened to the commentary for this one, and it said that they didn't. It's not that Alex that the character that Devon Sawa didn't want to return. I don't think. I think it's because they said in the commentary, the writer and the director said that they wanted to make it interesting to where one of the two had to be killed off because it was just Alex and Clear at the end of the first one. So I like that they kept one character, but I felt like it was a little bit of a cop out whenever you realized that Alex just got hit by a brick and died. It was kind of stupid. Because of all what he's survived through, he just get hit by a brick. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that they kept her. And out of the two, I did like both of them in the first movie. I thought they were both pretty compelling. But I guess it was a good choice that Ali Larter came back as opposed to Devon Sawa, who Devon Sawa was great in the first one too. But I think that I guess Ali Larter has a little more, I guess, depth to her in terms of the character, in how the character was already had a screwed up life where she didn't have a family, her dad died, her mom left her, she lived all alone, she had this premonition, she met Alex, he died, and now she's in an insane asylum. That's pretty fucked up, but I like how that kept following that tradition of the first one where it's like, man, she's really fucked up and it keeps getting worse. And by the end, whenever she dies, she's finally free, I guess. But it took that long for her to go, and it's interesting with that character. I feel like she was the better character of the two just because she already had a horrible, sucky life throughout, and Alex didn't. So I thought that that was great to have Clear back if you had to bring back one of the two. But I would have liked to seen both of them in it, but it just stinks that they're not together. But I really did like Kimberly in this movie, AJ Cook. I thought that she was a really great lead. I thought that her character, like Alex in the first one, she had a lot of, in terms of the writing of these movies, they're not considered great. They're just typical horror kind of writing. But I think that she brings a lot of emotion to it. Like I thought that this direction she did with the acting was really good, and I thought that she really carried this movie. So I think that she worked really well, and Officer Burke was great, and Clear was great, and all the other characters were not as likable as the first one, but they were all interesting, and I liked how they all met their ends. And I liked how in this is the only one where you don't see the two main characters die, but overall, this one I think was a really solid, really great sequel, and I think it's really close to the first one. But next one is part 3, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.